If you are a dumpling fanatic like myself, then this is the recipe for you. Hello and assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Indulge with Iti. I'm so glad you could join me here today. On today's menu we have some Japanese style Goyza dumplings. Typically this dish is prepared with pork, but because we're keeping it halal on this channel, I am substituting pork for chicken Maryland fillets, tofu and some prawns. So before we get into any of the good stuff, we're going to place our dried shiitake mushrooms into a pot and fill it up with some water. These mushrooms are completely dehydrated, so we have to bring them back to life by boiling them until they completely soften. Shiitake mushrooms have a very intense and unique flavor and complement all the ingredients that I have spread out today. While our mushrooms are softening up, let's work on our filling. So into a little food processor, I've added my garlic, my bird's eye chilies, some ginger and some coriander roots. Along with those ingredients, I'm going to add some roughly diced up chicken Maryland fillets, as well as a selection of some sauces. So to the mixture, I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, followed by a tablespoon of soy sauce, and finally a teaspoon of sesame oil. Once our seasoning has been added, let's go ahead and blitz all the ingredients until we have a smooth minced consistency. Once you're happy with the consistency of your mince, go ahead and keep that aside whilst we work on preparing our prawns for the filling. So here I have some prawns. I'm pulling off the tails and I'm going to go ahead and dice them so that we have lovely little dice-sized pieces of prawn in our dumpling mixture. Thanks to the magic of time lapses, our prawns are all diced up and we're ready to add them into the mince. With the prawns, I'm also adding some diced spring onions. Then I'm going to go ahead and dice some tofu and add that into the filling. At this point, our shiitake mushrooms are hydrated and plump once again and are also ready to be diced and added into our filling. Once all the ingredients for the filling are in one bowl, give it a good mix and make sure that all the ingredients are well incorporated. Here's a star ingredient of this recipe, the Goyza dumpling sheet. I picked up these Goyza sheets at my local Coles. However, if you can't find it at your local Coles supermarket, the next best place to look is your local Asian grocery store. I placed a heaped teaspoon of the filling in the center of the Goyza sheet. On the side here I have a bowl of water which is going to serve as a glue that helps me seal my Goyza. So as you saw, I dipped my index finger into this water and traced it around the edge of one side of my Goyza. Next I folded the sides together and did my best to pinch the edges until my Goyza was completely sealed. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and form our pleats. Forming pleats can be very intimidating. This is my fail-proof, simple go-to method. What you're going to do is dip your finger once again in some of that water, trace around the sides, and then fold and pinch, fold and pinch, and fold and pinch until your pleats are completely formed. The folding process is quite time consuming. I suggest you sit down, put on your favorite podcast or play a show on Netflix, and before you know it, you will be folding your last Goyza. Rest assured we'll be able to devour our Goyzas very soon, so to prepare them we're going to add a few tablespoons of oil into a preheated saucepan and then place our Goyza bottom side down and fry for about a minute or 2. What we want to do is achieve some golden or some browning at the bottom of our Goyza before introducing some water and then covering the Goyza with a lid to allow it to steam for about 20 to 25 minutes or until you're satisfied with the doneness of your Goyza. Today I prepared the gyoza two ways. We're in the colder months here in Melbourne and I was in the mood for a warm soup. This soup is very simple. I've added some onions, garlic, ginger, coriander roots, some fish sauce and some sesame oil and soya sauce, and of course salt to taste. I really enjoyed both versions of this gyoza, but take your pick. If it's up to me, try them both. Today I garnished my gyoza with some sliced spring onions and some homemade chili oil. Chili oil is a very common condiment that is accompanied by a number of Asian dishes. It is basically seasoned oil that has been infused with star anise, bay leaves, cinnamon, amongst other spices. I will be sharing this recipe with you all shortly. That first bite was so flavor packed. The chicken, the prawn, the shiitake, the tofu, all those flavors get on so well. The addition of the fish sauce and the soya sauce and the sesame really shine through. These gyozas store really well in the freezer. What you don't use can be frozen for later use. So here I have spread out the remaining gyoza in a simple brownie baking pan. I've then placed this pan into the freezer until each individual gyoza is completely frozen. This is done to avoid the gyozas from sticking together. Once each individual gyoza is completely frozen, add them all into the same freezer bag and keep them in the freezer for later use. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe as much as I did filming it. Until we meet again in the next one, take good care of yourselves, eat well and stay healthy.